Recently, I was talking with some friends about home ownership and some of the things that can happen to our homes when we own them and then are responsible for fixing the things that happen. And this idea of act of God insurance came up. Now, the context in which we were speaking was not a tornado, it wasn't a natural disaster. It was a pretty gross example of raw sewage leaking up into floorboards and ruining a house. And that fell under the category of act of God insurance. And I found myself in that moment feeling like I really needed to stick up for God. That really, this was our sort of way of saying stuff happens and we don't really know how to account for it. But let's pin it on God in our insurance language. And that struck me as so deeply strange and bizarre. And it got me thinking about the ways in which we, in our culture, in our society, even here in our synagogue, think about or don't think about God. The things that we pin on God, the things that we want God to be responsible for. And so I brought you a book today. This book is called My Fun Theology Workbook, Finding Out What the God of Your Understanding Wants from You, by dear friend and colleague Rabbi Brian Zachary Mayer. Now, this fun theology workbook I bring to you as a suggestion for ways in which we can better understand this notion of God. It's got lots of words in it, but it also is a workbook and has some questions and things for us to reflect upon in understanding our notions of God. So if you wrestle with a God who is responsible for sewage coming up through the floorboards of your house, like I do, I don't think that's God. But this workbook might help us figure out what God is.